Hi, I'm Rory and this is the Impossicaster Deluxe. I made this guitar as a tribute to my former band, the Impossibles. The Impossibles used blue and white for pretty much everything, and then we also had racing stripes going through our logo. This is called an Impossicaster Deluxe because it's based on a Telecaster Deluxe. It's got the Fender wide range humbuckers, it's got three-way switching like a Telecaster Deluxe, independent volume controls, independent tone controls for each of our pickups here. So you got a three-way switch, it's going to be able to give you the bridge sound, the bridge and the neck, and neck. The thing that I like about a Telecaster Deluxe is that you can pull the Gibson trick where you turn one of the pickups all the way off, and then you can do a little bit of like, it's really fun with feedback. The Fender wide range humbuckers are going into 1 meg volume pots. I do that because the reissues of the wide range humbuckers are a little dark, a little bit muddy, and I find if you run them into 1 meg volume pots, that cleans it right up and makes them sound fantastic. Got a string through design going to the bridge. The bridge on this one is what we call a Bubba Mod. A Bubba Mod means that I took a regular 6-saddle Fender bridge and then I drilled extra holes to be able to put these Wilkinson compensated saddles on. The early Telecasters just had regular barrels running along here, and the barrels would be tilted in order to try and get the intonation right. These actually are shaped so that they get that intonation spot. I've put 3 saddle bridges on my last few builds, and I just really love the simplicity of it. I mean, if you think about an acoustic guitar and what the bridge on that looks like, it's super, super simple. And I kind of like electric guitar bridges that try to follow that philosophy. The idea with the finish was to go a little more 70s, a little more Evel Knievel. The other thing that it really gives me is motorcycle helmets that are covered in metal flake. This is metal flake except for the stripes. The stripes are a pearl white, and then there's metal flake over the entire body. That metal flake shows through in silver accents that go along the white pearl stripes, and then the rest of it is covered in a candy Caribe Blue. Kind of gives it some nice depth. It's something that you have to see in person to be able to appreciate. The glitter, the sparkle, it just doesn't really come across unless you see it in person. But it's a real stunner when you get it in front of you. But now I'm wrong from home to work. The transparent pickguard really was a last minute decision for me. I tried several different iterations of this guitar before I landed on something that felt right. The first thing I tried was perloid. That was really pretty, but a little too over the top. Then I tried a straight white, which was great, but it really covered up too much of what you can see here with the paint job. Once I realized that I was covering up too much, it made it pretty obvious that the one and only way that I could go with this was the transparent acrylic pickguard. The acrylic pickguard I like for a few different reasons. One, you finally get to see all the work that I do on the wiring in one of these guitars. The Gavitt cloth covered wire, the CTS pots, the way that it's all done. I like being able to see in there. There's also copper shielding on the back. It's almost like a NASA Space Museum sort of vibe. If you've ever been to a museum where they have some of the old technology, they'll usually have like acrylic plates covering it up so you can see the insides. The other vibe that I get that I think really aligns with the Impossibles is Star Wars. I think the blue and white really gives R2-D2 for me, and then being able to see the wires along with the copper shielding really gives me C3PO. I just ultimately love where this landed, and I feel like it's exactly what it needed to be. And along with the very unique finish that I had on this, I decided to make my first ever aluminum neck guitar. I always wanted to check out an aluminum neck, but honestly, I was never really into the aesthetics of them until Hoxie came out with a Fender licensed one. So now that you actually have the Fender headstock on an aluminum neck, they got my number. Please take my money. I custom cut the nut on this one. It originally came with a black tusk nut, and I put in a genuine bone nut that is white. The aluminum neck is super rigid. It's really fun to play, but I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this thing is heavy. The strap I have on this guitar is very tight. That's because it would start neck diving pretty significantly. So just be prepared. I tend to almost think of this guitar as more of a art piece than a player. I would not expect someone to get on stage and play with this guitar. For one thing, it's kind of a deadly weapon. If you were to hit somebody with the neck of this, you might murder them. So I would not take this guitar on stage personally, but it is gorgeous and it will look amazing on display. Looking up, colored baby. Let's talk a little bit about what I like to call the curse of the Impossicaster. This is the third Impossicaster that I have made. This is the only one currently in existence. The first time that I made an Impossicaster, I tried to make it out of chinaberry. I thought it would be really cool to make a guitar out of a wood that was from an invasive tree, and it would be like the sustainability thing, but it started disintegrating almost immediately. It was not a viable wood to make a guitar out of, at least not the chinaberry that I had. I then started to create a new body for that first Impossicaster, but ultimately ended up replacing both the body and the neck and creating the first finished Impossicaster. So that one fell prey to UPS. UPS lost it. It is heartbreaking. That is a unique instrument. There's only one in the world. The good news is that we were able to get the money back for the person who bought that guitar, but still just heartbreaking that it's no longer a thing. So this is the one Impossicaster for now, and I am really curious what's going to happen with this one. Do you dare to try to own an Impossicaster? Will it ever arrive? If it does arrive, what kind of curse is it going to bring upon you and your family? I don't know. Maybe this is a good luck charm, since the other two clearly were not. I love the way that this guitar came out, and I'd love to see it find a great home. Pick it up!